In this episode of the KickCast, we follow the entire life cycle of drinks. That's right, from Keurigation to excretion, and a seamless way of getting guests on your Wi-Fi. So sit back and relax. It's time for the KickCast. Hey everybody, it is time for another episode of the KickCast. I am Ktdata, and joining me always is my partner in crime, Drew. How are you doing today, Drew?
That's the crowd going wild for Drew. I made it. Yes, I'm doing well. Good to be here.
Oh, I am so glad that you are here, and I am glad that it is another episode of the KickCast. If you guys have not seen the KickCast before, what Drew and I do is we go out, find some really, really cool crowdfunding projects. This week was hard, so we have a packed episode. We had to throw out bacon-flavored ketchup for projects. It tells you that any good. And we will tell you if you should back, track, or sack them. So before we go into the projects, and believe me, these are great. Let's go into some news. The first news of the night is that Kickstarter has rolled out another update, and of course they announced it the day after our previous episode of the KickCast because they do that. So you can almost guarantee tomorrow they're going to announce a new feature. They now will allow you to send out updates to specific tiers, so you don't have to mass spam everybody.
How nice would that be, though? To be able to say, "Hey guys, in this realm, here's what you need to know and why you should upgrade or why you should share." I love that.
Yeah. To me, I'm actually not too excited about it because there's some issues that come out with it. A lot of these projects now have add-ons, so you get a base tier and then you just add X amount of dollars to it, and then you have add-ons. So if you need to send out an update to a specific tier, plus add-on people, you can't do that. You got to still mass send it out. And I don't think I've ever run into an issue where I've gotten annoyed by updates from projects.
I have once. I have once. It was just a project that didn't even fund, and they still sent updates probably 2 or 3 times a week to say, we're going to relaunch again in 3 months. And so it just kept coming. It was like, I got it. I know that you're going to do it. Leave me alone. So anyway, yes, but you're right. Overall,
I think it's always good that they can improve these tools and whatnot. So, hey, good for you, Kickstarter. What's your next announcement tomorrow? I'm not bitter about that or anything. Okay. So this is the news that I kind of wanted to talk to you about. How you we always talk about having good video in your projects, planning out your tiers in your projects, getting your word out and everything. One thing that we don't talk about that much is your wording. So we've told you what kind of content to put on your Kickstarter page, but we've never talked about what kind of words you should be saying on the project.
Which is an interesting thought. Yeah. We never really have gone that deep and said, oh, you've used this phrase or used that phrase.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that this research has shown that there are certain words that help things be successful, or at least tend to be successful.
So a bunch of researchers from the Georgia Institute of Technology, they examined 45,000 projects on Kickstarter, including the Pebble and to other projects that didn't even fund, and what they discovered was they analyzed how every single page was written, and they noted how much more money some projects got versus others. So there's probably a lot of, computer learning stuff on there. If you actually want to read the article, this slate.com has a link to the article and you can read it. It's kind of super interesting stuff, but it's a little dry if you're not into the big data analyzing research thing. I am.
So I could be. But you pulled out some of the interesting things. There are certain phrases that totally work for this, and there are certain phrases that lend themselves toward being not so successful.
Yeah, so some of the phrases that they've mentioned are also receive to, mention your, given the chance, your continued, and we can afford. Those phrases tended to be in projects that funded very successfully and probably got over their goal. Words such as not been able, even $1, later a blank, and hope to get, they didn't fare so well on there. So you'll probably want to avoid those.
Yeah, but some of those are like just seem random string. Like Even $1, I guess I could see that.
Well,
Later I. What kind of sentence starts with later I, or it has later I in it?
well, that's the thing is I totally get it, because if you look at these bottom ones as not being able to, it has a negative connotation. That means these
Yeah,
guys have hit a
not
roadblock.
even. Yeah,
Even $1. That means we're so desperate that, if you
even
could
a
just
dollar
dole it,
helps.
send us $1, and then later I is like, okay, so we want to reach this goal, but later I have this even bigger plan on there,
Ah,
where people might be waiting for that bigger idea.
yeah, yeah.
And then hope to get is, again, more uncertainty. They're not totally sure that they've gotten something. So what you want to do is kind of keep this in mind, and then pretty much marketing 101. Like if you
Yeah.
when every time you go into Car Salesman or you watch one of these late night infomercials, these ideas that we're going to talk about, because this article goes into these ideas too. So I'm gonna I'll list these ideas. There's about 8 of them, if I'm right, if I can find my mouse. But the first one is reciprocity. So projects that have a physical item or some kind of tangible item that a person's gonna get tends to fund better than those big ideas that you're just gonna help humanity
Right, and it totally makes sense.
out.
Give it back.
Making things scarce. That is another one. I am a huge sucker for this. If you put limited edition or only in this project, there's a high chance that I might end up backing the project. Like the last project I backed was the 2013 Moe headphone collection, and I backed $200 only due to the fact
That you wouldn't get it anywhere else.
that I could only get this specific wall scroll that has not even been drawn yet, but is exclusive to Kickstarter, and I'm like, I want that.
Wait, this is the headphones with a certain design, or is
So
this?
no, they're not even headphones. It's going to be a wall scroll like the one behind my shoulder right here. It's going to be printed out
Oh,
on there.
oh,
And the whole project is it's going to be a book of anime girls wearing headphones,
oh my gosh.
like name brand headphones.
Katie, how much?
$200.
You sir have a problem.
And I backed it because I wanted the wall scroll, and then I wanted to get. They also are coming with giant prints of each of these anime girls wearing the headphones, because it combined 2 of my favorite things together: headphones and anime into one, and then they had to put limited edition on top of that.
Yeah, weakness, scarcity goes far. You crack me up.
So that's why I want that.
You know what? You need to build the next studio. You just put nothing but that wall scroll behind you and call that good.
Well,
That's
I'll
it.
have the wall scroll and like a bunch of individual prints. I only actually want one individual print because it's actually going to have my headphones on there, these white ones that I'm holding up in there.
So sweet. All right.
There, so
After scarcity, what else?
so
do we have?
scarcity is social proof. Successful Kickstarters emphasize that many other people had already donated on the project. So again, this is the crowd making people think that you're joining this movement of people who are like-minded and will want to do it.
And this is what we talk about a lot about having traction as it gets going. At the very first out the gate, you got traction. That social proof is what lends itself to an increased interest in that project as it grows.
Yeah.
So that works.
Because I can tell you when I got my Pebble on here, I donated when they were still under. They maybe had $1,000, $2,000 at most. I wake up the next day, they're already at $100,000. And at that point, I already got 2 of my friends to back the project during that time.
I didn't realize you were so early on
Yeah,
that.
and guess who referred me to the project in the first place? One guess, Drew.
I was it Randall?
Yes, it was Randall Bennett. He posted it on Twitter. I saw it like, I want that. That's going to be it. I backed it right then.
And from there, it just kept social identity, social proof. Good.
So, it proves my concept and the multiple degrees of Drew.
Speaking of, I had him over here just the other night. We're chatting with Randall, and I said, Randall, did you ever see that show where Katie and I both dressed up like you, like somewhat intentionally? And he was like, no, I had no idea. So we've got to find that, screenshot it, and send it to him, because we've got to make his day.
I will send him that. So after that, we also have social identity. Project leaders who wrote their pitches with a specific target goal in mind, as opposed to a pitch that appealed to the general public, tended to take more cash. So these headphone guys, they overfunded, but they were smart. They knew who they were aiming for. They were aiming for the anime fan who happened to be an audiophile. That's not a large market, but they said everything that, clicked with me. Another one is the Mega Man board game that I ended up backing. Not everybody likes video games and not everybody likes Mega Man, but they showed off enough stuff where Mega Man fans just flocked to it, and they ended up getting maybe three or four more times as much money as they wanted.
And I think at some levels that ties back into the scarcity or of some sort, because you are such a niche. You're looking at such a niche market that those people are going to want that to know that they'll be the ones that are in the scarceness when they have it. So
yeah. The next one is gratitude. They were always thanking people for their engagement. Liking them out, calling out specific people. Boost, and then that helps boost the probability because it makes people feel part of the project.
Right.
One of the guys that I think was awesome at doing this is the Throwboy guy, which I actually should be getting my pillows sometime in the next few weeks.
Yes.
He would always put out constant updates and everything, and he would always be thanking people. It's like, thank you guys for helping me out, helping me get this dream. And, it just makes you feel part of the process, even though, you're really not doing anything day to day. You gave them money. And then the final thing is authority. And I hope we get to this point one of these days, Drew.
Someday.
Is that most successful projects, a person who's running the project is an authority in this world. Pebble Guys, I forgot what his name is, but he already had spent years making a smartwatch for the BlackBerry. Obviously, BlackBerry is not a dominant platform anymore, but he had the expertise to do that, and that's why he's doing. Let's see what else that we have. Why are all these projects slipping my mind now? I've backed so many of them.
Yes, they've all blurred together. You're a monster.
Actually, the oh crap, what do I call it? One of my iPad styluses. He was actually in industrial. You'll see a lot of these guys. He industrial engineer on there. Decided that he wanted a stylus that was more closer to a technical pen, and that clicked with me. I'm like, he gets it. He knows what I want in a pen and in a stylus. I trust him to be able to make this project the way. So you don't want just some guy who, hasn't put the time and effort into it, but people who have serious, expertise in it have, it just makes you believe them more.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, and these 6 things, if you actually go back and watch an infomercial or you go talk to a car sales guy, they practice all of this. So if you keep these 6 ideas in mind and try to stay away from those phrases that we mentioned earlier, you probably will have a higher chance of making your project successful.
We should do a whole series of how to get.
Oh yeah, I have been having ideas brewing in the back of my mind, Drew. Don't worry, I'll let you know.
Yeah, we should. There's just so much that we ourselves, we have plenty of things that we should be kickstarting ourselves.
So those are kind of great ideas. If you want to see this article, just head on over to kickcast.net, and it will link you straight to the slate.com article. It was a great article. And our final thing for news is kind of another planning thing, is how you got to be careful when you're picking the pricing for your backer tiers. The guy who wrote this article, he actually had his own Kickstarter for a camera flash, if I remember correctly. And he was actually writing about how you got to plan for things, because people tend to, he notices that a lot of people don't put a lot of thought into what their project should be, or their backing rewards. They think, oh, I'll just do, a postcard for $15 or something.
Right.
And of course, the article disappears.
But to think about that and to be able to explain, because that is the biggest question. Some people say, "Here's my great idea," and then they get to the rewards, and they either spend a lot of time thinking, "Okay, what physical reciprocal awards can I give or give back to people?" And you're right. Without that right tier, you just turn off too many people. They'll look at it and say, "That's."
He mentions the thing is, like, sometimes you think too much about the rewards and not about the project. He uses postcard example, saying that if you're a watercolor artist, you might want to perfect it. Did you calculate in the cost how much it's going to get the poster, or how much time you're going to take to make all the postcards, how much the postcards are going to cost, how much it takes to ship the postcards. You could literally spend a whole month on there. Plus, you're spending money on covering the backing rewards, and so you only get half the amount that you were actually planning for your project. So he says keep those things in mind when you're planning things, or you might run into some trouble on there. So that is another tip, and we probably will go into more depth about that later on, because that's the tricky part, and that's one question that I still kind of have a hard time answering when people ask, like, how did I know how much to ask on my backing levels on there? So Drew and I probably will have a more in-depth conversation once we mull over this a little bit more. All right.
Wow. Yeah.
All right, Drew. This is what everybody waits for. It is time to go into the projects.
Couple projects.
So we will go into the first project right now, and it is called the Vapour Pack. So do you know what a Keurig is?
Yes, they have one-shot cups that you put in, even though I don't drink coffee, but you put in flavored coffees and I believe some hot chocolates.
Yes.
Hit a button and it pops out. Yeah.
So those have changed the world, because before, remember, back in the day, you just brew a giant pot of coffee, and then if nobody drank it, you had to throw out the coffee. Kind of big waste. Plus, you got to, or if you get bottled drinks, you have to kind of carry them, store them in the fridge, keep them cold and everything. So what the Vapour Pack does is it takes that Keurig idea, and not only does it do hot water, it does cold beverages too. So you can make your own lemonade, your own iced tea and everything. And it has same idea, little packages. It has a refrigerant unit in it, so it cools the water or heats it. It can do both. And it uses cups that are exactly the same size as the K-cups out there. And they have their initial flavors that they're going to come out with is lemonade, iced tea, sports drink red, which I am assuming is fruit punch, orange, and grape on there.
Interesting.
And I love it because and looking at the price, they're asking for the non-early bird price is $150 or $175 if you want 24 of their cups with them. So how does that compare to a Keurig? A Keurig is about $100 to $150 depending on what model you want to get. So it's about the same price on there, but you're able to make hot and cold drinks, and it saves you the trouble from having Gatorade take up all that space in your fridge, or having to lug up a giant can of lemonade, because I know storage is tough on some people, and this is what is nice thing is you can just have the machine there and then just have a rack of the small cups to use right there.
The best of both worlds. And for some reason, you have a lot of passions, headphones, anime, KickCast. You have a lot of things. Something I've never understood is your drive for beverage makers. Haven't you ordered others?
I actually have a cold brew coffee maker that should be coming in sometime soon. Well,
that's awesome.
This is probably the chemist inside of me that's talking, because all of it is chemistry and just the art and passion. I don't drink that much, but I love the idea, and I've studied how to mix drinks and doing mixology, just because I love the work that you put into it, squeezing your own fresh lime juice, meshing, cracking your own ice and everything. All of that, that whole process of doing that and putting your effort into it is, I appreciate that a lot more than most people think, because people are like, oh, alcohol, yeah, and I'm like, oh no, the art in putting that together is amazing. To me, that's probably
it all makes sense.
That's probably the chemist that's talking to me.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm a little bit concerned about is these what they call V packs. They're actually a little bit more expensive than the Keurigs. The Keurigs go somewhere between 50 to 75 cents or so, and they have reusable ones on here. These ones, if you do the math, they're charging about $25 for 24, so it ends up being $1-ish per cup. So it's a little bit more on there. But I can see if this starts getting popular and everybody starts having these in their offices, I can see this company or somebody else making refillable cups. You've seen that in the coffee world too, because they'll make refillable K-cups that you just buy your own coffee, fill it up, and then throw it into the machine. The machine does the same thing. People might be wondering, is like, why is it so hard to do cold drinks? Because the K-cups, it's just literally a coffee filter and the coffee in there. The problem with doing cold drinks is you don't have that hot water to kind of help dissolve things on there. So you got to get the pressure of the water right. You got to, have stuff so the powder doesn't get stuck in the cup
Right, right. Or
and
does it come out too
yeah,
too
you'll get
gritty because it's not mixing?
yeah, you can get it too. The drink you get is too strong or too watered out. So they've kind of engineered little devices and they've tuned them to each flavor too. That's why they only have a handful right now, and they're actually working with distributors to get flavors. So who knows? We might actually get name brand flavors of sports drinks, and they don't have to just call it sports drink red. They can actually call it fruit punch
Someday.
someday. And get iced tea and lemonade. So I think it's a great idea. For me, it's a track because I know not everybody wants to get one of these single use things or whatnot. But I love this idea, and honestly, if they get close, I'm getting myself one, and
Okay,
saving
for
some
me,
space.
I'll track with you. I mean, I don't consume hot or cold beverages. I don't drink anything ever, ever. I'm severely dehydrated. And, yeah.
Well, that explains why you always have an IV bag in your
Yeah.
room. So
So that makes it. So for me, it's a track. I love the idea, and I think it's really cool, kind of a step forward in the engineering to be able to do hot and cold together, and glad to see somebody push that together. Probably won't end up in my kitchen because I don't, like I said, I don't do that many drinks, but
until I
I take
convince your
advantage of
wife,
it.
if I convince your wife,
There you
that's
go.
the key. All right. So speaking of drinks, let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
You know what
Is
happens when you drink way too much?
Yeah. So here's our next project is Leela's potty time. So Drew, tell everybody
Leela's potty time. This one's
what this
easy.
is.
This one's easy and simple, but I love the idea. Leela's potty time is an Indiegogo's quick and easy project that hits home for me. The what do you call it? Like the inventor of this project or the leader of this campaign, Leela's potty time, has basically had too many issues with kids needing to go potty on long trips or on vacations or places where are taking kids. Just I've been through three little girls toilet training, and I've learned things about toilet training that I could write books. But this portable idea, like it never occurred to me because when my kids are training, or even after, I'll kick them out on the side of the road if we're driving between like here and grandma's house a half hour away, and they say, "Daddy, I gotta go potty," and I yell at them, "Hey, we should have done that 10 minutes ago."
You can do that with girls? I thought you only could do that with boys.
Right? And so that's why Leela's potty time is fantastic because I still have pulled over a few times, climbed out, grabbed one of them, and said, "Squat right here, just get it done." You know,
I'm gonna save this for
travel.
when your little girls
Yeah.
get older and show them this.
The first date. So this, if you look at this, the simplicity of the design, I think, is what I loved about this, and how it was just. She shows this kind of like problem solution video. The video is pretty funny, where she just says, "I can't fit a big normal plastic potty in my bags if we're going anywhere on vacation, traveling. I can't put that in there. It doesn't collapse. It doesn't get smaller. It takes up way too much room." And anytime I've gone camping with my girls or traveling with my girls, it's just a lot of different stops for potty. And even in camping, it's like we will circle campsites or go to the next campground to try and find a site closer to the bathroom because I know inevitably there's going to be a late night or midnight run to the potty. So this portable potty is an easy, collapsible, 3 pieces. You build it together, and essentially it is a seat with a hole in it made out of cardboard that structurally looks pretty solid. One of my favorite pictures in the video is the mom sits on the potty, which is awesome, just to show that she's like, it's a still shot, but still, it's like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah, I wish you could see my screen because I pulled that up. But then you throw in your own plastic bag, and so packing that in your suitcase would take up no space at all. 3 flat pieces that when you get somewhere, or even when you need it, you build that thing together and throw a plastic bag in it. Or if you're on the road and you're traveling for long distances, just having that in the backseat of the van as like an emergency potty break. I love it. I won't say too much about it except for strangeness about the project. It has been up for almost a week, and I have not seen anybody or anyone backing it.
Really?
It's at $0. It's got 36 days left, but it's at 0. And so I guess that's just, it's kind of a question mark. And I go back to that list that we had in the news section. Where
Because
$25 doesn't seem like that much for something like this, but
I mean, it's got to be getting the word out. I mean, that's why
Yeah.
we're going to get it the word out. Everybody
There you
go back this project right here, or at least check it out and let
Social-
your people with little kids know.
Yes.
I have no use for this because I don't have any kids.
Wait, you don't need to throw this in your car so that in case you need to have a little stop on the road. Yeah, I don't know. I think maybe that's it. The word's not getting out. I found this on BackerJack.com. Remember we talked with Ross Rubin.
With Ross, yeah.
And so I found it on BackerJack and came and checked it out, and just was surprised to see that it had no traction. And this is one thing to have like little to no traction or slow beginning. This has got nothing. It's almost like she hasn't like seeded it with her own money at all, even, which people do. But yeah, so for me, it's a back. I will put money on this one and hope that they hit their 15,000 to make these patterns and ship them because kids go potty.
Yeah, so for me, that's a back too. Even though I have zero experience in needing any of this on there, but I can see where it's useful on there. So that is something that I definitely come on, go help this lady out. She's obviously an expert. She's a mom.
Right.
Moms know everything about kids.
Years of experience.
Yeah. So I totally think it's something worth that you should be doing out there. So that is Leela's potty time. Now, our final project of the day. So let me know if you've ever had this project problem before, Drew. You have a party at your house.
Oh yes, party all the time.
And of course, people like me who are super into their smartphones. We got to be connected all the time. Got to be able to tweet. Got to be able to do everything. So they ask you the inevitable question: what's your Wi-Fi password, right?
Yes.
And then you got to go through the whole process of, all right, hold on, let me pull out this password. It's since you are tech savvy, I can't just say password 1234. That's how people steal your Wi-Fi, and then you get in trouble for downloading something that you didn't because of some guy on the street that guessed your password on there. So it's this crazy 18 to 20.
That's what I'm tell Disney when they say, "Why did you download Frozen again?" I'll be like, "No, it wasn't me. Some guy out on the street."
Yeah, and you pull out your password. It's some crazy 20 digits with lowercase, uppercase, special digits, numbers all together. Nothing, no common letters and stuff. And you're like, all right, just put this in right there. It's a nightmare, right?
Yes, I do it with babysitters for me. It's not parties, it's babysitters.
Yeah, it is a total nightmare on there. Then when they leave, you're like, well, man, that guy was using a lot of data. I'm going to reach my bandwidth cap because we all know Comcast is going to eventually put bandwidth caps on us.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're going to be like, I don't want him to be streaming YouTube over at my house and eating up all this, so I can't Skype KT for another KickCast and we're screwed on that. So
can't handle it.
Yeah. So what you have to do, you got to go change your password, and then you get another crazy thing, and you got to go change it on all your devices. It's a total nightmare right there, right?
Yes.
So this is where our project comes in, the Pylon on there.
Interesting name, the Pylon.
The idea of the Pylon is they call it intelligent Wi-Fi for your home. And the way it works is there's a base station you plug into your modem, it sets up your Wi-Fi network, and then the actual Pylon is an NFC chip that has been paired from the factory already, so you don't even have to worry about pairing these. You can leave it by your door, and if your friends have a Android phone right now that has NFC on it, all they got to do, tap the Pylon on there, and then the Pylon will automatically enter in your Wi-Fi password, set that all up, install the Pylon app, and I'll explain why it installs the app because there's some cool things to do later on that, and they're good to go on there. If you are like me and Drew that live in the world of iOS, you can download the Pylon app and not tap, they call it bump. You bump the thing, it detects the accelerometer going off, and it will automatically detect the Pylon that's in the vicinity and pair it for you on there, and you're good to go on there. And what's cool about this is that Pylon automatically gives you 30 minutes of browse time on your phone. So after 30 minutes, it disconnects you and you can't get on the internet again. So that's great for guests who just need to use it real quick and that kind of stuff. Or you can actually move people into groups, and those groups say, it's like your best friend, and like, don't worry, they can always be logged in on there, so they have unlimited time there. Or if you have your neighbors, oh man, that nosy neighbor, he just needed to look something up real quick. So you give him only 5 minutes of time, and it's disconnected on there. So it does that. And then on top of that, it actually has these devices called the Pylon beacons that you can connect to your speakers. You can connect to a smart TV on there. And if the owner of the house can manage and put you into a group, you can be allowed to queue up a playlist, and then music will be playing from your phone over the speakers for everybody to hear at a party or stuff. So you kind of have that control, or you take pictures of the party, you want to share it to people, so you can have it be displayed on a smart TV in the house so people can see pictures and whatnot. And whoever owns a house, they can moderate all of this, so they can control it from end to end on there. I love this idea.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. Even beyond houses, but the locations, co-working spaces,
Yeah, they're working
offices.
they're working on a business. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine going to Starbucks. I mean, you go to the coffee houses now, they don't post the Wi-Fi password because people just camp there when they do that and not buy anything. So you got to get it off the receipt or stuff like that. Imagine this: you walk in, you tap it, you're good to go for half an hour. You need more time, you go buy something, and they can increase it for you or decrease it. I love this idea. The only thing that I'm a little weary about is NFC is not in everything, but I like how they planned for this and have a app ready to go that you can just bump on there.
Right.
I can't imagine too long until all phones have NFC in it. And this is what I love NFC for, pairing things and doing things like this. So you don't have to worry about long passwords. You don't have, everything's automatic for you.
Right. I think that's fantastic. For me, it's that like when I text back to the babysitter, I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, the girls want to play games on the iPad or something, so I give her the Wi-Fi password, and just figure, when do I need to change this? I don't see that she's going to come in and hack my Wi-Fi, but still, it's what a pain to be even texting my password, sensitive data. Yeah. So I love the Pylon. I love it.
Yeah, and the only other thing is they never mentioned anything about other devices that aren't on that aren't on a mobile OS, because I think they're planning on being iPhone, Android, Windows Phone, and probably BlackBerry. Maybe if BlackBerry's ever around anymore, we'll see.
What do you mean other devices that are not on?
So like your laptop on there, there's no I don't. They didn't mention there's an app or anything, so I'm not sure if you have to have your own base station or if you can manually type in a password and it will pair with you. Or
or like a thumb, like a thumb drive that does that Bluetooth thing with your mouse, that kind of thing, where it's like a little, like dongle-ish.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that's the only thing that's really stopping me, because they don't really address that point right there. And if we had an intern, I'd have them email and find out. Yeah. So if you guys want an intern for the KickCast, kickcast@ktdata.net. I can't pay you, but you'll have my eternal gratitude.
And you'll do some cool stuff, and who knows, maybe you'll start backing your own projects, and then what?
Yeah.
Life changes.
So for this one, I wrote down track, but the more I talked about it, it's a back for me. It's just a foolproof way. I mean, imagine this. You install that into your relatives or your parents who aren't like they don't know technology. You tell people, oh yeah, if you want your friends to have Wi-Fi, just have Stella tap that thing and she's good to go. Voila.
Stella.
So this one is definitely a back for me. What is it for you, Drew?
I was just looking at the pledge levels to see where they're at, and it's reasonable. $85 or more is
about
a decent
the same price
reciprocity.
As any other. That's actually lower than most of the high end routers.
Yeah, exactly. Or anything that would be like, because I'm likening this to other fun auto home type of things. The Nest Protects, the Hue lights, that kind of thing, and even the Wemo. This for me, this is kind of in that vein, and so 85 is doable. So I'm a back. El Bacco.
What's going to happen is next time I go to Drew's house, he's going to have this on the wall. I'm like,
yep,
that looks familiar.
This is great. I like it. I like the idea. I don't think I entertain enough yet, but when my kids get older, I think I'll be having more people over. And they all want Wi-Fi. It surprises me with the most random people come by for a 10-minute visit or 20-minute visit, and they're just like, "Hey, can I jump on your Wi-Fi real quick?"
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then, when your daughters are old enough to date, they bring the boys over. You only get 5 minutes of Wi-Fi.
And then you get the hell out of here with my shotgun.
Yeah.
My
Done.
shotgun has NFC. Get out.
All right. And so it is already at the end of the show. Like I said, it was jam-packed. I can't believe it's the end of the show. So many projects that we couldn't cover. I mean, like there was one that you could feed your dog or send them treats remotely. Again, bacon ketchup. I'm so I wanted to put it in so badly, but there were so many other good things in there.
Go look for the bacon ketchup.
So there's so many good ideas. And so if you have any projects or anything, please let us know. KickCast at ktdata.net or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/KickCast, or on our Google Plus page. What was that? That's plus.kickcast.net on there. On Twitter at KickCast or at Night20 or at KTData. We all see them, especially now that all our Pebbles get at replies sent
I got so excited that I got that. Love my Pebble. Now I'm totally connected.
Yeah. Or if you want to look on Pinterest, I put those projects up there too when I remember.
Totally a manly, geeky thing to do.
Yes.
Putting on Pinterest. Yeah.
Yes. The ultimate place to go if you've missed links for any of these projects, you want to see that Slate article about what to write and what not to write. Just kickcast.net, look for this episode, show notes listed beautifully there. One note, if you guys visit anywhere on kickcast.net or ktdata.net and run into issues, please let me know. I just barely moved the site to a new web server, so if there are any lurking bugs on there, let me know and I will try to get that fixed as soon as possible. And of course, if you guys want to watch live, Laser Norm and Coons, they are in the chat room right now. You can watch us at live.kickcast.net. Our next episode will be February 18th, 2014, 4 days after Valentine's Day, all you guys. So if you're listening to this before the 14th, make sure you get all your shopping done.
Shopping.
By the 14th.
Yet another shopping day for holidays. I'm going to make you a card. I'm going to make you a card out of paper, and that's it.
Go to CVS.
Yeah.
On there. Drew, thank you so much for... you're always busy chasing around your little girls.
No, I got...
So thank you so much.
I enjoy doing it. You texted me tonight, and I was like, oh, yeah. It's KickCast nice. I got to get down there. So.
Oh, and Winston snuck into the chat room, too. See? On there. So I always have a blast doing it, Drew. Sometimes I wish I could see you in person more often.
I cannot believe that. Seriously,
more Vegas trips.
Yeah,
that's how we solve it. More Vegas trips is how we solve it.
We should do one live together, side by side, in my studio or in downtown Ogden. We need to book it and promo it so we can get our viewers in there and make it worth our time.
It will be awesome. And thank you guys for watching. You guys live. You guys at home who listen past. You guys honestly blow my mind away when you guys say that you listen to this, and I'm floored by it, and words cannot describe how grateful.
Yeah, people stop me at church and tell me that they listen to the KickCast.
Yeah, seriously, thank you guys so much from deep down on the bottom of my heart. All of you guys are my Valentines on the 14th. I can't take you out on a fancy dinner because,
take yourself out.
We don't make any money, but just pretend that I took you out on a fancy dinner on there. So we will. So other than that, am I missing anything, Drew?
I think we hit it all. Good night.
All right, guys. See you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.